Good morning, BookTube. This is Johnny. Time to make a video. I think I looked at yesterday. It's been 3 or 4 days since I filmed a video. And I thought I was going to make a video tonight because my wife would be gone to the women's Bible study. But she left this morning to take some hymnals to an old lady that she knows who wanted hymnals so she can plan her funeral. She's 95 years old, and so my wife went to church to get one of the church hymnals to take to her so she can plan the hymns that she wants to be sung when she has her funeral. So I'm by myself, and it's a Wednesday, June the 15th, 2022. We are in the middle of the month. The 21st of June is the first day of summer, so we're coming to the summer season. As it's here in Michigan, as it always is in June, it is hot. It was over 100 degrees yesterday, and it's going to be in the 90s today. The whole country is an extreme heat wave, part of global warming. So it is 10:06 in the morning. I'm sitting in the dining room, which I usually sit in the mornings, writing in my diary. I'm on page, oh, it's getting blurry. Oh, I'm on page 569 for the year 2022. And I've been kind of in a theological kind of mood lately. I was reading Dr. Beeke and Smalley's Reformed Dogmatics, Reformed Systematic Theology, and I finished that on volume 3. But I have been reading Theological, Practical Theology, The Works of God and the Fall of Man, volume 3 by Petrus van Mastricht, translated by Todd and Reisner. And so I've been reading this. Petrus van Mastricht was born in 1630. He died in 1706, was a Dutch theologian who studied at Urk under Voetius in Hornbeck. He pastored churches in the Netherlands and taught at the universities of Duisburg and Urk. His theoretical practical theology was praised by many as one of the great works of systematic theology, noted for treating Christian doctrine comprehensively from its exegetical foundation to its practical use for one's soul. So yeah, I've been reading this morning. I'm reading on creation. I finished yesterday, the other day, on reprobation. You have the as he says here in the beginning of creation, which is when he does exegetical, he does the first Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the earth. It says in the first sentence, insofar as we consider the internal works of God, now come the external works. So he looked at the internal works of God, which is reprobation, election, predestination, the actions and the decrees of God. So he covered those, and now he's going into the external works of God, and he goes into creation, and then after creation in general, the world and the work of the 6 days, and then he goes into the good angels, the evil angels, the man in the image of God, general man in the image of God, general providence of God, the covenant of nature, special providence, the violation in the covenant of nature, or some call it the covenant of works. So I've been kind of like so I've been reading this in the mornings, and then I read yesterday I read Ludolph of Saxony, The Life of Jesus Christ, Part 2, Volume 2, Chapters 58 to 69. I'm almost on chapter chapter 68, Holy Saturday and the Lord's Passion. So I'm almost on 68. I've read 363 pages. And then I've been reading Herman Bavinck, Guidebook for Instruction in Christian Religion by Herman Bavinck, translated and edited by Gregory Parker Jr. and Cameron Clausin. And I'm almost, like a couple more pages in Jonathan Edwards' Spiritual Writings, reading about internal and external work of grace. I'm on the sections on signs of godliness. How do you determine if you're truly a Christian and not one of God's reprobate? And still reading Jonathan Edwards' Pastor, Religion and Society in 18th Century Northampton by Patricia, Tracy. So that's why I read in the mornings. And I got a book in the mail yesterday that I've been reading, Republic of Detours, How the New Deal Paid Broke Writers to Rediscover America by Scott Borchardt. Yeah, it says here, the plan was idealistic as it was audacious, utterly unprecedented. Take thousands of hard-up writers and put them to work charting a country on the brink of social and economic collapse with the aim of producing a series of guidebooks to the 48 states, while also gathering reams of folklore and narratives of formerly enslaved people, and even recipes, all of varying quality, each revealing a distinct sensibilities. All this was the singular purview of the Federal Writers Project, a division of the Works Progress Administration founded in 1935 to employ jobless writers. The FWP took up the lofty goal of rediscovering America in words and soon found itself embroiled in the day's most heated arguments regarding radical politics, racial inclusion, and the purpose of writing, forcing it to reckon with the promises and failures of both the New Deal and the American experiment itself. Scott Borchardt's Republic of Detours recounts the history of the rankest, remarkable undertaking, tracing the FWP from its optimistic early days to its dismemberment by the House Committee of Un-American Activities, through the stories of some of its most notable figures, Zora Neale Hurston, Richard Wright, and Nelson Algren, among countless others. Borchardt illuminates an essentially noble enterprise that sought to create a broad and inclusive self-portrait of America at a time when the nation's very identity and future were thrown into question. Yeah, I pre-ordered this. It looks really interesting, and I've been reading it. Still reading the Silentiary by Antonio De Benedetto. This is translated out of Spanish by Esther Allen. I'm almost halfway through this. And I'm still reading Margaret Sanger, A Life of Passion by Jean A. Barker. She was an early feminist. She was a leader in the birth control movement. She, during the, around the 1920s. So I've been reading this. I got this in the mail too the other day. I was watching a BookTube interview with Shelby Foote, who wrote that massive 3-volume on the Civil War. And it was an interview with him on Book Notes, which is on YouTube, talking about this book, The Correspondence of Shelby Foote and Walker Percy, edited by J. Tolson. And I collect Walker Percy's writings, and I have that Shelby Foote's massive 3-volume history of the Civil War. And I watched the interview, and it was very interesting, and it was on this book. The book was just coming out, The Correspondence of Shelby Foote and Walker Percy, and they talked about, well, Walker Percy had died, I forgot when he died, but he had died before the book came out, and Shelby Foote was talking about their friendship. They knew each other from when they were teenagers, and they knew each other up almost all their whole life. But Shelby Foote, in the interview, he talked about that he was there on the bedside when Walker Percy died. Walker Percy is a very well-known American writer. He wrote The Movie Goer. I collect his writings, biographies, and other material on Walker Percy, and so I got this in the mail. Another reason why I got this is because in these letters going between Walker Percy and Shelby Foote talks about the writing of that 3-volume Civil War trilogy, and most of the letters in here are Shelby Foote's. Shelby Foote said in the interview that he didn't save the earlier letters of Walker Percy, whereas Walker Percy saved the letters of Shelby Foote. So most of the letters in here are Shelby Foote, but when you get into the 70s, then you see both letters, the Walker Percy's letters and Shelby Foote. But up until then, most of the letters are Shelby Foote, which are very interesting because before Shelby Foote wrote that trilogy on the Civil War, he wrote 3 or 4 novels. And so in these letters, there's a lot of Shelby Foote, and also Walker Percy was trained to be a doctor, but he became a novelist and a writer. But they talk a lot in these letters. There's a lot of thing about being a writer and writing and what it means to write and how to write, and because they're both, Shelby Foote and Walker Percy, are reading each other's writings before they're published, and it's very interesting. If you're interested in what writers write about and the whole art of writing and what it means to be a writer and character and narrative and plot and all those kinds of things, it's very interesting. And so I've been reading these letters. Also, I've been reading short stories by Irwin Shaw, short stories, 5 decades. The reason why I got this is I was at the Book Nook Monday and I picked up a novel by Irwin Shaw, which is down the lower level. His novel, it's not even mentioned here, but it's one of his later novels. But anyway, it was, I can't remember the title of it. Cast Your Bread Upon the Water or something like that. But I already had this in my library, Irwin Shaw, so I decided just to read some short stories. Once in a while I get this out and I'll read some short stories. This is Short Stories, 5 Decades by Irwin Shaw. There's a picture of him in the back. So those are the things I'm kind of reading and throughout the days since I last made a video. I got some other books coming in the mail. I'm always coming across books, and I go to Amazon and I look them up and I read about them if they're really not expensive, and I can find them cheap, used. Like I got this used, this book. I got this used, and I got this used, and I got this from the Book Nook, and I bought this new, but I got it pre-order, so I saved some money on it. I got this on a sale. I usually don't buy, I mean, most of the books I buy are from thrift stores and used book sales, and I don't spend that much money on new books. So yeah, it's been very hot here. I've been writing in my diary. In the mornings I read these Christian books, and like I said, I've been reading it since I got this in the mail yesterday. I've been reading this and reading the correspondence of Shelby Foote and Walker Percy. This morning reading Van Mastricht on creation. Herman Bavinck, the Guidebook for Instruction in Christian Religion. I'm on the chapter on the essence of God. And then I go into the doctrine of the Trinity tomorrow. Next time usually I read one of these books every morning. So tomorrow I'll be reading on the Trinity. And then I'm almost finished with Jonathan Edwards' spiritual writings, and then reading on the Passion of Christ. Holy Saturday is when he laid in the tomb, and then on the third day he rose from the dead. So that's what it is. I mean, like I said, it's been hot. I haven't gone anywhere except the Book Nook, and writing in my diary, writing in my online blogs, Crooked Fingers, making videos for BookTube once in a while, talking to my wife, watching the birds. Yesterday we had the block party at 6:30 in the evening. It was 100 degrees out there, and we sat in our lawn chairs and talked to the neighbors and just going through life. So I hope you're having a good reading week. We're in the middle of the week, the middle of the month, and I'm hanging in there. I noticed yesterday when I was outside talking to the neighbors that I got really kind of freaked. I was feeling really insecure, and you know, it's like sometimes you're talking to someone and you say, man, I'm saying in my head, what are you talking about? It's just, does it really matter? You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes I make when I make videos, this is really important? Is this really profound? Is this really mind-blowing? It's kind of like, there's so much bullshit, you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of crap. A lot of what we talk about has no substance. It's just hot air. Or it's, who really cares? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, maybe, I don't know. I just felt really kind of icky after I talked to people. Maybe it's my insecurity or my feeling inferior or feeling I'm worthless. I don't know. But Carol arranged the block party, and I felt obligated to go out there and show my presence. And even though it was hot, I did come in after a while, and because it was so hot, and then I read this and wrote in my diary, and it was over by 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I don't know. I did talk to some neighbors, and I try to be friendly, but after a while I began to feel kind of creeped out, kind of icky. So I came into the house. So I hope you're having a good reading week, and thank you for the comments, and I'll download this video. Check out the book Republic of Detours. Check out Walker Percy's writings. If you're into the Civil War, check out Shelby Foote's trilogy in the Civil War. Really enjoying the Silentiary by Antonio De Benedetto. Interesting on the life of Margaret Singer. Reading the short stories of Irvin Shaw. Can't go wrong reading Jonathan Edwards' spiritual writings. Check out Herman Bavinck. Read especially his Reformed Dogmatics, classic. Really enjoying reading Van Mastricht on creation. Been blessed reading. I've read 3 volumes. Now I'm on the 4th volume of The Life of Christ. Been really a rich spiritual experience reading this and meditating on the death of Christ. And so that's it. Like I said, always read the Bible, the Holy Scriptures, pray. It's like when you get my age, I was telling Carol what I do every day. What do you do? My son asked me, Dad, what are you going to do this week? And I just said nothing, but then I thought what I should have said is I'm going to prepare myself for eternity. Prepare to die and meet the Lord. So I'll sign off. Once again, thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. Do pray you're all doing well. Stay inside. Find a cool place. And this whole country is under a heat wave, 100 million people. And until next time, bye.